Welcome to today's collective reading. This is Trinity Gaia Oracle. I'm going to open with some sound resonance, so if you're sensitive to loud noise, feel free to skip ahead a few seconds. As you could tell, I already have a card that came out. In setting up today, this particular deck got kind of spread out a little bit, but this was the only card that was in the upright. And very clearly it's as above, so below. The power of the feminine, of being receptive, whether you're a man or a woman, there is great power in being receptive. And if you have been resisting this, you're not resisting it anymore. You recognize, you feel, you know, and you own it authentically as yours. The power in the receptive energy. So it's no longer just above or just below. It is both. Though very clearly the motion is feeling a coming down into the physical with the gold and the gold. And the motion, this is protected, this is cloaked. I'm getting a similar image to, for any of my Harry Potter fans out there, you know, with the triangle and wand, and like the cloak, the philosopher's stone, and the wand. That's kind of what this is. Energy here, you're receptive to this. And not just above, but below. You know this truth. That sword is significant for owning it as your truth. People can tell you this is what you need until they're blue in the face, but until you can own it as yours, it's not going to really be something you can carry with you into your next cycle. And that is why a lot of people, a lot of readers, especially really good ones that it's not about anything but really truly being there for people, knowing that the words have impact and that there is an ethical responsibility to consider that, to weigh that. They will say, you know, this is not to be shared. That is a respect for your path. Because to give you the answer and you not be able to own it could have taken this from you. Could have taken your ability to truly own it as yours, which is the only way to truly break the cycle. So let's see what the secret language of the light aspect of self, soul, would like to highlight. In the yin-yang, male, feminine, masculine, receptive. Oh, this would be more of the light side, which was typically associated with masculine, even though that one wanted to come out. There's like a flippy to it. Ooh, alignment. This came out again in one of my last readings. I know that it's been a minute, but there has been so much going on in the collective over the holidays. So much. Yes, there were heavier notes, definitely, but there's a lot of freedom and liberation, a lot of truth, a lot of understanding and love. See what the darker side, the shadow side of the soul would like to highlight for the collective tuning in today. This would be typically more of the feminine. Give, that's too many. That was too many. I want like one. You wanted to give me like 5 or 6 or 7, like a good chunk. Apparently, the feminine side has a lot to say, even though this can be something that you experience in your life through men and women. We all have a balance within us. And synchronicities can come from very interesting places if you're willing to see. And we have journey into darkness. Know your heart and dreams. There's so many layers of protection around this heart. So many fail-safes, and yet it doesn't keep the heart from shining. I'm also kind of, what is it, a Dyson sphere? It's a concept that the suns, it's like a construct around a sun that harnesses the solar energy. Scientists, they theorize this would be a sign of an advanced society. However, in this case, like the sun still gets through, your heart, the light still gets through, but there's so many layers of protection here. This will break to a 9, this is a 5. So this is something that you have been somewhatly separated from. Like 5s are typically lack thereof, like they're distraction, they're out in the cold, if you see series of 5, like 555, that could be a sign of synchronicity of union within the 3 aspects of self, the divine, the masculine, and the feminine. In different traditions, it's, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Maiden, Mother, Crone. This has been your path. This is what you have been learning, overcoming, alchemizing through. Right? What do you want us to know here for the collective in particular here? Because there's so much here, you guys. There's so much. I had that very clear awareness that there was so much to come, so much to share, so much to say. And not enough to fit into, like there's too much to put into one reading. That's for sure. Too much. Way too much. And it may be something over time. But you guys have been doing so much. And if you're somewhere still feeling like you're journeying into the heart of you, you're healing that shadow aspect of yourself, getting to know your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, how they impact the choices you make, how you feel throughout your day, how you interact with others. And with this being over the holiday, sometimes they can be very beautiful experiences that are humbling and still emotional, and others they could be somewhatly, you're needing to really make some grounded choices about truth and where you stand and where you don't. And I get a very clear feeling that there's a sense of responsibility within the viewer, within the collective, within you, that the decisions that you make have an impact on everyone around you. Like certain individuals in particular, possibly, you're a parent maybe, or you have a relationship that you're very protective of or invested in. You may even be taking care of a parent, a sibling. The 2 swords, it's truth, but there's a sense of spiritual battle. Whether you were fighting your own demons or you were fighting, and by that, like just any blockages really. And maybe that does resonate. Maybe you legitimately felt you were combating a consciousness that was separate from your own, that was challenging you. There's a reason there's so many layers of protection, because they were needed. They were needed. a responsibility to fight this battle because you can, because you're capable, because everything is aligned for you to be able to do so. Even if you don't have all the answers in this moment, you have walked this path long enough to know that they will come when they are meant to, when they're needed to, when it's the best moment for it to occur for you to know you will know. So that others that maybe aren't as capable can. Like, as you understand, they can gain understanding. Almost like a relay race. Like, you grab the bucket, you fill the bucket, you pass it to the next person. So we have the dancer and musician that came out together. Ooh. Runaway. Ooh, dancy dancy. The gambler. Okay. So you guys took a chance. This is like a fool card here. Oop, 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 oop. All right, and we have the catalyst and pathless. Okay, that is right there. Okay, so these two came together. Clearly dance, music, party, celebrate, but with the dancer inverted, there's somewhat of a resistance almost. Like, can I celebrate now? Can I? Is it really here? Like, I'm really seeing these two triangles mirroring one another. They're like, Also a feeling of not just union, but also like hand fasting, how they would do the rope or the rope or the thread, the ribbons around the wrists between the two. So the grabbing hold of that, the embracing of that. Once this really anchors in and you're like, yes, this is legitimate, this will go like this. If anything, I think it was inverted just to have that connection that this is here. You can dance, you can listen to music, you can, dive into that self-expression. Maybe you're a painter, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a tarot reader, however it may be. The harvest is here. The union is in the physical within you. You are balanced. You have embodied that pinnacle, so now you can offer you to the world. There may be a romantic aspect in your life, definitely, but this is validation that you can now come to that connection when you do encounter it, knowing that you can be fully present, that you are ready for that because you've done what you can on your own. The only way to really learn in that area is to actually be in the relationship. For those in the collective that are single right now and you're not looking, you've integrated yourself. So you can bring all of you to whatever you decide to create. Everything that you don't even know you're capable of yet, or that you know, or that is available to you. You're able to play and dance and mix and create. Even I'm getting like with different colors than what we even know are possible, for example. Like, there's so much more beyond what we understand is possible that you are now able to create with. And this, to me, very clearly implies that it's beyond the physical. As above, so below. You're not only creating here in the physical, going through your day, you're creating in the non-physical. You're creating in the layers, the dimensions of yourself, of the future that are existing even now in this moment with you in the higher levels. Wow, that's a really that was a kind of a mind-bending construct that was just kind of flashed into my mind there, that time is an illusion. It's an illusion. So your higher self, future self is actually like fully present with you. It's not separate at all. Yet there's the implication that it's in the future. Yet time is an illusion. I think quantum physics is trying to make this relatable, but I remember watching a documentary on it, and the instructor for a quantum physics class opens with, first thing to know is none of this stuff makes sense. Which is a humbling way to start a class, being, one of the leading edge teachers that you're in, like, a documentary about it. Which even there's this sense of bubbly, playful fun. But the runaway and the reverted, secrets, running from problems, yeah. You're not holding on to secrets anymore. You're not wanting to keep any part of you in a state of inauthentic expression. You are done with the cage. If you really look at this image, the flowers, the earth energy in this has completely just been like, I've outgrown this completely. You can't contain me. Got a concept of like a dandelion that is the first plant that breaks through the concrete and blooms. And everything that went into Mother Nature breaking through that concrete to be able to have that first plant reach for the sun. That's this energy here, and it's just taken off. There's more than one bloom here. There's many different blooms in this image. Iris? I think it's iris. I'm not the greatest with identifying flowers on site, but I think that's what that one is, and that's come to my attention because it has specific meaning. I would have to look that one up. If anybody is watching this, feel free to leave in the comments what, if you just happen to know what iris means off the top of your head, for those that are watching to just kind of see that. With the gambler, that when this one first came out, we were doing backflips and it was really excited to talk. And it's possible that it was in the deck inverted and it did the dance to go upright. The truth is on the top. The spade is the sword. It's the knowledge. It's the truth. Sword, sword. Yes, you have fought battles. You have been incredibly protected, but you had to work your way through those layers of protection to heal your shadow, to know yourself. And you couldn't proceed to the next layer in of protection until you were actually ready. So you were tested. And I'm not saying that the tests were fun, they were good to experience, that you enjoyed any of it. I'm not going to say that, because these kinds of tests, they're meant to really challenge you on all levels. But you did it, and you did it with love. So you were able to get into that inner heart of your shadow self. It's like you could feel that part of you calling out to you. Like you needed to get to that part of you to heal it. That the Ace of Cups at the bottom, covered by all the others, but predominantly the Pentacle. The physical was challenging. The dice landed on a 3, a 1, and a 2, Trinity, as well as one hand has no adornment, but the other has so much, like rings, multiple, like one of them has 4 on one finger. You had someone you were gambling with, or they had to have a lot of enhancement to be able to even meet you where you were, and you didn't need adornment. You didn't need to have Like, for example, if each bracelet and each ring represented an individual, that this individual was siphoning or co-creating energy with, like a coven vibe, you don't have that. You're you. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11, 14. They have 14. They had an artificial presentation of alignment to even be at the table with you. They needed 14 other people to contribute, to even be able to be perceived as a possible equal. Gambling over your aces. There is the other flip side to this, because what's above is come below. This was speaking to the shadow side of this, the darker side, the challenge. This is what you overcame. Now, what's coming in for you? Because you're the catalyst. You're the catalyst here. When you come in, you alchemize, you change. You look at things from completely different perspectives than other people do. And sometimes it's far more simple than they make it out to be. And they get kind of lost in the complexity. So they never know what you're going to do. They never know what's going to happen. You're the leader. You're the one that makes way. And there are others around you with eyes to see. And then they become part of this. And then someone else can see them. Yet again, the passing of the water, of the intuition, the truth. This hand that is adorned now is the symbols of the bracelets and the rings. They're no longer other individuals that are being co-creating with in order to be an equal at the table. It's for every individual that contributed in this fashion, in this way, it was meant to keep you from waking up. It was meant to keep you from healing yourself and knowing the truth. And because you, being a leader, being a queen, you know that you're responsible for other people. Because you moved with heart, with truth, you persevered, you held on to that one thing that you know is true. And this doesn't matter where you were born, what religion you grew up in, what spiritual path you are walking. Love is the only thing that we all are seeking and all desire to understand. The human warrior spirit. Everything about it is about the simple things, protecting the love that kept you going through every adversity that came to you. And you had 14 minds. And I have a feeling that there were individuals competing to be a part of this collaboration. So they were the best of the best that they could get access to, and that you still persevered because they just don't understand that one truth. They couldn't take that from you. It's not possible. What you have now is an individual that is lavishing you with attention, like the divine is lavishing you. Like you're receiving this inheritance. When it comes to the spiritual battle, one of the things that it's possible for you to do is to be able to, when you're encountering someone is using and taking from other individuals their power and harvesting and just icky stuff. It's just so karmically the debt for doing that, right? You didn't want the power. You were only ever in this for the love. So you surrendered that. It wasn't for you. It wasn't yours. You were happy to give it back to someone that it had been robbed from, these energies had stolen it from. Meaning they had taken their life, their destiny, their faith, their happiness, their joy, their sense of self-worth. They had taken these things from them. And you were happy to give that back. You were happy to be able to facilitate that because you would want someone to do it for you. And you wouldn't want them to go, I'm going to take some of it and only give you a bit. No. There's karma even in that. No, you're like legitimately, you have suffered a lot in your life. More than most people know. And frankly, it's none of their business. It's none of their business. You don't need to defend your authenticity by listing all the things you've been through. It's none of their business. And if they ask in that way, you know that they won't even hear you if you did. They've already made up their mind. You've been through so much. You know the only thing worth actually having, because underneath all of this is the cup, is love. Without love, none of the other aces come to the table. They could be there, but they're not effective. They're not able to be used efficiently if you are not giving to love. And that begins with love for yourself. But, clearly with what's in this reading, you guys, you have fully gotten that pinnacle of you. Good. You know you. So, geez, okay, all right. Is there anything specific in the tarot to come out before we close this reading and move to the next? Anything specific you would like to come out? Ooh, clearly, Spirit wants me to do an oracle card, a neurolinguistic programming for mastering your reality card before we close. Spirit's reminding me so I don't space it. Channeling, there was just so much energy coming into this reading. So, you got to stay grounded a bit. Spirit helping out. And some of the synchronicities you're getting even now, because there's so much that you're integrating as this anchors into the physical. You might have things like that too, where you just get like really spacey. Notice how that came out. So we have the Two of Wands. This is a partnership. Typically in the traditional interpretation, it's a partnership, a co-creation. Two wands choosing to create. You have strong personalities and you're ready to act towards what you want, both of you. We have the King of Cups. Assertive. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so you have some healing to do within yourself, some extra processing, just kind of, there's been so much that taking some time to be like, okay, what do I give to? What do I empower as truth? Because a lot of what could be coming through, especially when it comes to any kind of spiritual warfare, be it, your own inner constructs versus, or as well as, you may be dealing with both an outside intelligence or force, entity, personality, group that are projecting energy towards you. So you have to be able to spend some time, take some time in meditation, maybe it's a drive to the store or a commute to work. Maybe it's just a few minutes as you lay down at the end of the night before you actually fall asleep. To sit with those details before you fully pass judgment on what you're going to give to and what you don't. Because you're aware that you need that discernment. The Seven of Wands. It's about being protective of the self. You're very resilient because you're incredibly resistant to falsity, to false light, to deception, to manipulation. Six of Pentacles, equal give and take. You won't let just any energy pass this unless it is capable. So you've bossed up. You've bossed up. Okay. That's quite the phrase, Spirit. You've bossed up. You have no problem defending yourself. You know you're not just defending you. You're a leader. You know that when you defend you, you are defending others that are maybe not capable, ready, where they are meant to be on their path yet to be able to do so. You're standing up for yourself and them. There's a bit of anxiety that I'm getting from the collective about the severity with which you do. Like, do I hold back? Should I hold back? Should I restrain? You don't want to have regrets. You want to stay aligned. Ooh, 5-5. Okay, 5-5's coming out. We got two fives here. And that's 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Wands, distractions, and out in the cold. So this is an action that it took you a lot to be willing to empower because you needed to be absolutely certain. Not sure, certain. And I'm sorry if the S really had that high pitch to it there. I just caught that. But yeah, there's a lot of respect with how certain you are. You did not want to act and then have regret. You did not want to defend yourself and then be like, well, I guess I hurt them really bad, or I hurt this innocent person really bad, or, you didn't want to have those thoughts or those feelings. So you wanted to be absolutely certain before you actually embodied that, because the energy that you contain within you, that you can direct and focus and manifest and create, and it's nothing small. It's very, very powerful. So something like, for example, say you're in a dream state, maybe, and you're aware for a moment. Maybe you're just new to lucid dreaming. You're not even aware of how powerful your lucid side is. That a simple shrug or, pushing something or someone away, or feeling like butterfly effect, but far more instant. A subtle movement from you could create a real chaotic experience for wherever you're directing it. Okay, so that's too many. The superhero Storm, I believe. Her eyes go white and she goes up in the air and she's lightning and tornadoes and command of the elements. This could be external or internal, possibly both. Command of the elements. Thor, lightning, any kind of mythology that has a mythological being, a god, goddess that wields lightning, like illumination, genius. Tesla, when he was struck by the coil, and he just, I think I remember talking about how he felt that he traveled through time and he knew where everything was going. And lightning is it's you. So command of the elements, you are way more powerful than you necessarily realize. So you were very careful before you defended yourself. So, however, you have defended yourself. That very clearly was a concern, and your spirit team is very aware of that. So whatever you have done, you don't need to be dwelling on, don't be guilt tripping yourself, pretty much. Don't go there. You were defending yourself. Now, if that individual or that energy or that person that was projecting or wanting to pretend to be something that they weren't, or someone they weren't in your energy, or however they came at you, And if their karma was to have a heavy consequence, that's not between you and them. That's between the divine and them. That, not your circus, not your monkey. If you need that to be a mantra, hey, I have it myself sometimes. I need to say this to myself sometimes. Not my circus, not my monkey. Everything has happened as it is meant to, and everything that's going on as a result of your defending yourself is already being handled in a fashion that you don't need to be dwelling on it. You don't need to be focusing on it. Not your circus, not your monkey. That circus will handle that monkey. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to grab we're going to close with the Neurolinguistic Programming Cards for Mastering Your Reality by River. I'll show you guys the cover here. I'm very impressed with this. I like the melding of science with like ancient spiritual philosophies that have been passed down for thousands of years. And I like that there's science with it. And science is something that we know that can be repeated in modern times. So it adds a validity to it. And then you anchor in that it's been a wisdom that's been around for thousands of years. And you know that's something that's just part of being human. That if you were to travel back in time, that another human being would probably find this very same card that comes out for us tonight, or today, whenever you're watching, that would still have some constructive application in their own life. Okay, so we have overlapping systems. So much is said with an image. People process information differently. Some prefer visual cues, others prefer auditory or kinesthetic. Using overlapping representational systems, you can bridge communication gaps. Speak in images, sounds, and feelings to ensure your message resonates with everyone, regardless of their preferred modality. This card. First, I want to highlight that there are vibrations, messages, synchronicities. This is like sound vibration, resonance. What it would look like on a graph. Also, a sense of lightning coming in, illumination. Even in the modern world, you can still be very tapped in the chaos around you. So many people, so many activities, so much noise. You can still be fully present within yourself in the moment. The other side to this card that is highlighted for me is, how do you learn best? Do you learn best in one area? Do you learn best using all? I know when I was younger, I took a task to college to help us understand how best to study material for our brain to be able to absorb it. And I was one of the few that it was pretty equal across all the areas. So studying was all senses. It was a lot more work, but I knew it very, very well, which is really why you go to school in the first place. Be able to know the material you're investing in very, very well. So experiment with that. If you're not quite sure, maybe look up an inventory or quiz that you can take online to see if you can assess how best you integrate information. Because you're having a lot coming in. And if you only have a few minutes, like when you lay down at the end of the night, How best can you use that time to really look at all of it clearly, to catch all the finer notes before you make the decision? Because this collective, you guys, you take the responsibility of being a leader very seriously. When you're making decisions that affect other people's path, their possibilities at having a life that is something they've been manifesting and desiring their whole life, and oh my gosh, you just feel the weight of the world. Okay, a little laughter to kind of lighten that up. You take that seriously. And with the giggle, the laughter to lighten up, you know that you being in a state of peace, inner peace, meaning you know who you are, you're able to offer that pentacle that is you to the world. You can have more instances of joy and happiness and be fully present when you're in, say, like a state of anger or sadness, and heal it as much as you can while you're in that moment. Being fully present in your experience. That making it possible for yourself to be in this state is the best thing you can do as a leader for others, even if you never meet these people. However, the impact is that you see that you have on the world with your choices. If you are unhappy and you're giving to dynamics and situations and choices and whatnot that you know are going to take your empowerment from you, there's such a strong sense of responsibility. And the greatest way to empower yourself is to facilitate an environment in which you feel you can bloom in, that you can expand in and move beyond any preconceived notion of what a boundary is, a barrier is. Okay, my phone's dying, so I'm going to bring this to a close. The divine within me, the love within me, honors and sees the divine, the love within you. Namaste.